When the Patriotic Front came in power in 2011, President Michael Satta's vision was to bring into fruition a road-developed linked Zambia. They came unprecedented road projects never seen before. This is Night Live. We take a break. Welcome back. The road sector is known for contractors, the good or the bad. Rarely do we see the workers in the sector unless they're industrial challenges. Our guest tonight is Clement Mwila, who is the leader of the National Road Sector Agency and Allied Workers Union of Zambia. Good evening, welcome to Night Live.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for hosting me. Absolutely.
Your union was registered this year and it is dealing with workers from the construction road sector as well. And your union has not been in the media that much. Would like to find out more about this union. Tell us more. When exactly did you start your operations? And when it comes to membership so far, who is your target?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for that important question. This union was formed on the 15th of March 2017 this year, and it was registered under the Ministry of Labour. And to answer your question as to why we have been quiet, is because we are putting things in place. Because when a union has been formed, there is a process which takes place. And that process normally is usually slow, sometimes can even be fast. And the process I'm talking about is the issue of signing recognition agreements with the employer. So we are supposed to sign recognition agreements with NRFA, NCC, and RATSA for now. Now, the challenging part has been that from the date that we registered, none of these three employers have signed the recognition agreement. And the recognition agreement has to be signed within 3 months. Now, one would ask out there to say, what is the recognition agreement? The recognition agreement is a tool which guides the union and the employer on the operation aspect. Therefore, we have not signed this document. The employer has to recognize our union.
But then, sorry for cutting you short, these are three different institutions that you have approached. The National Road Fund Agency, the National Council for Construction, as well as the Road Transport, Road Transport and Safety Agency, and none of them has signed. Why aren't they signing this recognition form?
Okay, I'll start first with the NRFA. NRFA and NCC are within the 3 months because we wrote to them after we had written to RATSA. We started first with RATSA. So the three institutions, the two institutions, NCC and NRFA, are within the 3 months, meaning that they're working within the confines of the law. But after 3 months, they will be working outside the law. But on the aspect of RATSA, it's going to 6 months now. And first and foremost, we had a challenge in the sense that we started negotiating this, we started discussing this recognition agreement after the 3 months elapsed. We wrote to them in April, but we started discussing this document in July. So we are working outside the law. And right now, my brother, I can safely say that we have issues pending. And those issues, I think we have referred them to ZCTU because our union is affiliated to ZCTU. And ZCTU has taken a step further to look at those issues. But we hope for that RATSA will sign despite working outside the law.
But then the stipulated time that you've mentioned, is it a mandate that these institutions have to register with you or they have to sign this particular recognition form? Are they mandated to? Or it's up to their choice to decide?
Yeah, that's a very good question, my brother. Now, one of the key things you need to understand is that institution is an act of parliament. And it has employees. And those employees have a right to join a union in the sector. Previously, it used to be a union of your choice, but now it has changed. You see, the union within the sector. So these employees have already endorsed. We have recruited the members from RATSA, because it's one that we started with. We have recruited almost 300 members. So when you sign, when you have recruited 300 members, the employer has no option but to sign the recognition agreement. So on the other side of the coin, we don't know if they know but that we have recruited, but ourselves who have recruited and our mother board is aware that we have recruited the employees. So therefore, they have no choice because this is law. So long the populace, the populace is with us, and the populace for now is the employees. And these employees want the union. And I can tell you that of all the three institutions, RATS has the biggest number of employees, and the 300 have endorsed. NCC, NRF, the numbers are quite small because I think this is when they're coming up. I think even the NRF are aware that they just recruited over, they've been recruiting in phases. They want to recruit, I think, about 100 target collectors. So for RATSA, because RATSA is stable, it's stable, and it's got a number of employees. So it was our first target. And we have been facing one or two challenges, I can say.
But then, if you've clearly put it that it is a mandate and it is law, so then why isn't anything being done about it? Or are you doing anything about the situation that RTSA is not signing under the stipulated time, even when they're abrogating the law, as you're putting it?
Yeah, law is law, my brother. Law is law. And no one is above the law. I think we know. We have seen, okay, I'll give a practical example. We have had powerful people in governments. He was powerful, he was what, but the law came caught up with him. I'm not saying that there are issues at RATS, no, but I'm just saying law is law.
But are you doing anything about the situation with regards to the law?
Is if RATS management does not comply, we'll just take them to court. That is what we'll do. The law is very clear. We'll just take RATSA management to court because they're working outside the law. But we have raised issues. Before we take them to court, we'll see the response that the city will give on the issues that we raised. And we also we also write to the Minister of Labour on the same issues that we have raised. If we fail to agree, definitely we'll take RATSA management to court.
The minimum number of people that are supposed to register for the institution to be mandated to register with you is 300, is 200, you say, and you have that number.
Let me make it clear. We're supposed to have 25, for now, since we are registered, we're supposed to recruit at least 25 people for us to take RATSA management to court. Now we have got more than 25 people. I think we have about 300 people that we have recruited.
Now these 300 people that you've recruited, have they related to you the challenges that they're facing in the road and construction sector?
Yeah, they've mentioned.
And what are some of the challenges that they're facing?
Okay. First and foremost, you agree with me that the construction and the road sector have been the tool to the economic development of this country. And of late, you have seen that people are saying the economy is improving, the economy is doing fine. Even the stability of our local currency against the foreign currency, you have seen in those areas. And this can be attributed to good infrastructure that we have seen around and good road networking. Now, these things are bearing fruits. We have seen the economy doing fine, but the aspect of labor practice has been a challenge in the road and the construction sector. I can safely say that employees' morale is low. That is the biggest challenge that they are facing right now.
They're not getting enough money?
They are not getting what they're supposed to get. Because if they're getting what they're supposed to be getting, they can do more than this. And this country can be somewhere. But because of maybe somewhere our incentives are not okay. Because, you know, the way the road sector is that there is a lot of inequality. Somebody who's down there and somebody who's up, in terms of incentives, it's very, very different. Unlike the public sector. Because when you go to a public sector today, if it's maybe a civil servant, you see that a supervisor is getting maybe, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying these are the actual figures. The supervisor is getting maybe 2,000 kwacha. Is subordinate to be getting 1.5. But in the road sector, it's a different scenario. In the road sector, I find that somebody is getting 10,000, the other one is getting 1.8. That's where the challenges are. And These are things that bring about problems because employees are seeing to say, that one is getting this much, me, I'm getting this much. Then definitely the morale will do what? Will go down. Even productivity levels, my brother, will be affected.
Now, the biggest question that others will ask is, why does the challenge always have to be money when it comes to the unions? Aren't there other issues that are as pressing that the employees are facing that you could shift your focus to?
Okay, that's what I'm saying. If you heard from my answers, I said morale. And morale definitely is not just about about money, no. But even just the way they're working, relations, supervisor-subordinate relations. You know, this also can be attributed to the challenges that employees are facing. Because if you just say money, we don't say money as a union. There are a lot of things that employees need. One, I'll give you a practical example. If there's a Labor Day award, there's a Labor Day award, and people are rewarding their nieces and relatives. They are forgetting those who have been working extra hard. They are awarding people who have been in employment for 2 months. We have seen this in the sector. Now, how do you expect morale?
If one works for 2 months exceptionally, don't they deserve commendation?
There is an issue of probation, my brother. There is an issue of probation. So the issue of probation has to first somebody has to complete the probation period. That is when you can think of awarding that person. Now we have situations whereby Labor Day awards, employees that are being awarded are employees who is a niece to nanny, he is a what to this, is a what. So those are some of the challenges that employees face, other than incentives. Because when somebody is hardworking, my brother, you have to reward them. You don't need to look at the face at, whose son is this? No, it shouldn't be like that. When you want to reward someone, or you want to motivate someone, you do have to do it on merit. So if such things are in place, awarding of employees is done on merit. Supervisor-subordinate relationship is okay. Incentives, definitely, they are okay. What do you expect? Productivity will be high. And who is going to benefit? It's the same government which will benefit.
So then how can government, as well as other stakeholders, create and improve revenue collection in the road as well as construction sector?
Okay. As I alluded to earlier, I stated that the road sector and the construction sector is a driving economy too for this country. Now, factors that government can put in place to increase revenue base for in the roads and construction sector. Number one, the aspect of employees' morale. Those I think I've mentioned. If they improve the morale, then the other thing is NRFA. I'll start with NRFA. On NRFA, government has to first put up more roads through RDA. Then with NRFA, they open more toll gates so that they create employment for our people. Now, when they open more toll gates, they create employment there. You are going to have taxes such as pay as you earn. It will increase. You are going to have VAT. It will increase. People will be spending. So the base will continue growing. Then they have revenue from the toll gates that they are collecting. So we have expanded the revenue base. When it comes to RTSA, you agree with me that RTSA is it's one of it's one of institution which can be used by government to generate more revenue. I can safely say to you that RTSA normally has what you call mobile licensing in those areas where there are no RATSA station. Now, when you go there, I've been there before on several occasions. When you go there to say we are doing mobile licensing, my friend, the whole village, if it's maybe in Nyimba, in Eastern Province where my Mbuyas come from, you discover that everyone, the whole Nyimba will be there at where you are stationed. They will come with monies. But because of time factor, we don't normally collect all the revenues there. Revenue goes back and collected. So what we are appealing to government now and Road Transport and Safety Agency Management, one, is to increase the number of stations. If they say that, okay, they don't have money to open up stations countrywide, because maybe it can be expensive, they can bring the issues of containers. They just have a container in Nyimba, they have a container in Mfumbwe, because when you go to Great North, Northwestern, up to from Solwezi to Zambezi, there's no RATSA. So if Ratsa can put containers there, outlets where people can buy road tax and do fitness, these are the most important thing, my brother, as well as the licenses. Revenue base will be broadened. On the aspect of construction, we have seen that the construction sector has been booming and it's doing fine. But where is the challenge? I mean, how should government increase the revenue in the construction sector? Number one is to improve the condition of service for employees. Two, let government put an emphasis on these so-called skills training courses. Because when you have quality people working in this construction sector, definitely you are going to have infrastructures, good infrastructures that everyone will admire. If you put up an infrastructure, people will be admiring to say, okay, let me rent this building for my company and so forth and so on. Then the other thing, on the aspect of construction, you agree with me that these construction issues were started by the late President Michaels. I mean, not late President Mwanawasa is the one who brought in the construction sector to its where it's supposed to be, and we have to be grateful. But what I'll tell you is, government should look at the aspect of universities, engaging universities to be training qualitable civil engineers. What are these? I'm not an engineer, my brother. Architects and so forth and so on. Because if you have those people on board, definitely they will add value. There will be value addition in the construction sector. We're going to see quality, and quality will bring what? Revenue.
Now, one of the things that we're going to talk about after this break is the corruption that lies in the road as well as construction sector. This is Nightlife. We are discussing the road and construction sector in Zambia. We'll be back. Welcome back. Our guest this evening on this episode of Nightlife is Clement Mwila, who is the leader of the National Road Sector Agency and Allied Union Workers of Zambia. Workers in the road sector are accused of corruption in road contracts. Is the issue still taking us back to lack of morale, as you put it?
There's no corruption in the road sector. There's no corruption.
There's been so many accusations that have come on board.
Can you be specific in what you're saying? Because recently, the president himself, His Excellency Edgar Chagwa Lungu, said Ratsa is a free corrupt institution. Ratsa is in the road sector. It was the president himself. So I don't know which other institutions. Maybe, I don't know. Can you be specific? Maybe you help me with that language.
There has been statements that have come in most recently. We do remember one of the unions that actually represents the local contractors in Zambia did mention that a lot of the local contractors have a problem when it comes to accessing these contracts because they are overlooked based on the fact that they are local. And they are not able to give the money that is called upon by the ones that are awarding the contracts. And this is in relation to road contracts. Wouldn't you consider that as corruption?
I'll maintain. There's no corruption in the road sector.
Now, some of the roads which were constructed recently are not living up to their lifespan. What would you say is the problem? Is it an issue to do with the quality of works that is being put up? Or is it basically an issue to do with the issue of having a lot of people moving on the roads, which is a normal thing?
Yeah, it's the issue of maintenance. That is the biggest challenge. And the other challenge is these heavy-loaded trucks, foreign heavy-loaded trucks, which move anyhow, aimlessly. Because, first and foremost, let me start with the issue of maintenance. When you put up a road, you have to follow it up. I mean, you have to start maintaining that road. Even you, when you decide to marry, you find a very beautiful woman. You find that she's small, what? You as a husband, you have to maintain that person. Not because you have married that person, then you stop giving a man and say, no, ukarai mwena. It's not supposed to be like that. So this has been the case with our roads. We don't maintain our roads. Number one. There's no routine maintenance. That is why the toll revenue that is collected on these toll gates are meant for road maintenance. That is the biggest challenge that we have. Then wrong routes, as I earlier alluded to. You find a truck is coming from, is carrying heavy loads. It's coming from South Africa. Passes, it diverts because it does not want to meet a traffic. It uses a wrong route. Then that road is meant for smaller vehicles. And that truck is loaded with goods. Then it will start destroying the road which was constructed. So to me, it's the same. These are just the major factors.
So what could be the solution to those problems that you have highlighted?
The solution one is there. You have seen that government has been opening up toll gates. So we expect, as a union, we expect that government should be using that money for its intended purposes, maintaining the roads. Because that money which is collected on toll gates is for maintenance of roads. Then, my appeals to the RATSA director, because he's in charge of issues of vehicles moving on the roads. So we expect maximum supervision. I know they've been doing a good job in terms of traffic management and enforcement. They've been doing a good job. But we expect more, so that trucks which are using wrong routes, they're supposed to be impounded and charged heavily.
Are they being impounded and charged heavily from your observation?
To me, no.
So then what could be the problem?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe on the aspect of RATSA is the capacity. In enforcement capacity, the number of employees are few. Because you find like enforcement department, when you go to Mansa, there are only 2 people. When you go this side, there are only 2 people. So the whole Ruapura province, 2 people cannot manage. So I think RATSA should continue, reinforce its enforcement unit, because these are people with integrity who can do a good job on impounding those trucks which are using wrong routes, contravening.
Now, you did mention earlier on that it is important that the monies that are collected from these toll gates are used for their intended purpose. Do we see this happening? Is it something that we can bend our heads on and rely that this will happen?
Okay, let's give government a benefit of doubt, because this is just a pilot project. So let's try to give government for now a benefit of doubt to say they will use this money for its intended purposes, because I cannot comment further, because this is like a pilot project, the issue of the toll gates. So let's see how government will use that money. I mean, when they collect, and let's see how they will use it again. So we'll give government a benefit of doubt that they use it for its intended purposes.
Some of the workers are among the people that you would be looking at are working at toll gates, and this is an area that somebody would most unlikely think would have an eventuality, but it's in the middle of a road. How can we ensure safety for people working in these places?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question, my brother. But one thing that I'll tell you is that safety measures are being put in place. I can safely say that issues of fire extinguishers have been tackled. There's a first aid there are first aid box kits in these toll gates. Then every day, NRFA management commits itself to buy milk for each and every employee working at a toll gate, because of the issues of the smokes that comes about with the trucks, because you cannot say all the trucks I knew which passes that side. So then the other issue is the barrier. If you have gone even to Katuba, if you look at the distance between where the employee is collecting revenue and where the truck is supposed to start stopping from, to stop from or reduce the speed, in short, there are meters there. There are meters which have been put in place there. So you don't expect an accident. Like, okay, I'm not saying you don't, because anything is possible, but issues of accidents are the risk is very minimal. You see what I mean? There is a barrier there. So issues of safety measures have been put in place. Although we cannot say that it's 100%, but NRFA management is doing 1 or 2 things to put those things in place.
Thank you so much for discussing with us. This has been Nightlife. We've been discussing the road as well as construction sector, the workers involved in this, and they do not need to be behind the scenes anymore. My name is Dingindaba Jonah Puyoya.